Uh, we are here for a second webinar where we're going to talk about the AppSpace and all the components that reside inside AppSpace and how these components can add value to the business and can be used through an AppSpace. So today's session is to talk about whole AppSpace overview and features, and each and every component that resides inside the AppSpace, like page, when and how you should add the page, and when you are supposed to add the forms, and when you add flows and processes, and how you can switch among the various components inside the AppSpace, and then how do you control the version control, taking snapshots, and how do you deploy the applications using an AppSpace, and then how do you actually control the access management and create users on AppSpace. Okay, so let me begin with the very first screen of I hope you all can see my screen, right? So let me begin with the AppSpace. That once you log into an AppSpace, like you enter your username and your password, so all the applications that resides inside the AppSpace, you would be able to see all those applications. As you can see, I can see the application list. So not only the applications that is being created by you or you are the application owner, but the applications that is being assigned to you by other project owners will also be shown here. So as you can see, I can see the list of applications in AppSpace. So AppSpace is a single place where you can see all the applications. You can work on all various components of ONEWEB, and that can help you to build the apps that actually fill the business gaps. So let me talk about the functions and the settings that you can do on the AppSpace. First of all, I can show you the team management, and how you can do the team management. As you can see that I have a list of applications here, and I want some of my team member to come up and work on one of my applications. Let's say I choose one of the application here. Let's say I choose the currency exchange. Now, if I will see this application consists of 7 components, and if I would like to assign some team member, I can simply click on the settings and I can find my application. You see the currency exchange applications. I'm just giving you an example that how you can simply do the team management by using an AppSpace. So you can click on the application, and it will show you all the member list that are able to see these applications or able to work on this application. So other users, apart from these 4 users, other users would not be able to see the application. So let's say I would like to add, I have one of my colleagues with me as well in the session. She also joined the session, and she would help me to answer the questions in Thai in case some Thai users will have any questions. So let's say I would like to add Kun Suchada inside this application. I can simply open up the applications. I can see 4 members are allowed to see this application. So I can simply add the member. So as you can see, I can find any member which are already there in the system, and I can assign the member. So let's say I stop it for a while, and I will show you the Suchada account, and I will let Kun Suchada to log in first, and I will stop to share the screen for a while. Kun Suchada, can you log in for me in ONEWEB.tech?
Sure.
So as you can see that I will stop to share, and I will let Kun Suchada to share her screen once she log in. So can you log into ONEWEB.tech? So as you can see now, Kun Suchada login. So she's allowed to see only the one application that is being created by Kun Suchada. So this is Suchada account, and Kun Suchada is able to see only one application. Now I want Kun Suchada to be the part of my team, and I want her to work on the backend processes for this application. So I want her to be the part of this application. So Suchada, can you please stay on and give me the control back? Okay, so I will simply take the control back, and as you can see, this is my page. I want the currency exchange application. I would like to add Kun Suchada inside the application. So I will find Suchada again, and I will add the member. into the application. As you can see, I add the Sujata already inside the applications. So once I add the Sujata inside application, you guys can be able to see my screen. As you can see that here, I can you okay? I just wait for a while so that you guys can be able to see my screen. I can add any member inside applications. So right now I see the roles and conditions. If you can see that we have 4 members here inside this application. So if I would like to add a member, I can simply add the Sujata inside the application, and I can add application. So if you see now we have 1 more member. Now if Sujata will log in back to her, I will let her give her control back so that she can log in and show you that how many applications now she would be able to see. So I just stop share for a while. Sujata, can you log in and show us now again? Yeah, it may take, yeah, so can you refresh? Can you simply refresh? So as you can see now, currency exchange has been assigned to Sujata. Even it's been created by core system or the system admin or whosoever is been created this app. If the admin has authority to see this app, and he can or she can assign this app or can add the team member inside the application. So now Sujata can work on these applications, and she can create new features and use all different components that are inside the ONEWEB, and to create either the front end or the back end of this application. So this is one of the features like I would like to share with you, how you manage the team management by using an AppSpace. I will take the control back so that I will explain you the more features. Okay, so I hope you all guys can see my screen now. So let me back to the application. So if you would like to go back to the all applications list, okay, so you can now see all applications. Now talking about the snapshot, that how do you version control by using an AppSpace. So to do the version control, let me open one website, one application. So in these applications, as you can see, there is a menu here where you have develop, version control, and deployment. So in case you would like to do the snapshots, you can simply click on the version control. Here you can see all the snapshot that is being taken prior. So you can see that there is a snapshot history that we have taken some version controls on that particular date and the status of that. So if you would like to create new snapshots, you can simply click on snapshot, and they actually give you 2 options. Whether you would like to have a full snapshot or snapshot in terms of batch. So in AppSpace or in ONEWEB, we have 4 components to design the UX UI and to design the backend processes and business workflows. So you can either decide one of the component, or you can simply take the full. So in this application, ONEWEB website, we actually designed the website by using a page designer tool of ONEWEB, which is can be accessed by using clicking on page. So if I would like to just take the snapshot, let's say I call it as a demo session. So I can simply click on the page that I would like to take the page snapshots, and I can, this is demo snapshot. So I can just click on snapshot, and it may take a couple minutes, maybe 1 or 2, and it will create a new version for this website. So as you can see, the new version is being created, and version name is being assigned at 6.2.2. So it automatically assigns a version number. So you can simply mention the name of the snap, your snapshot. You can simply mention the name of the snapshot, and you can decide whether you would like to take the full snapshot or you would like to go for a patch. So in this case, I select the patch because I have only the pages inside this application. So I would like to take the backup of my pages. So I simply select the patch as a page, and so it gives you that who this patch is being created by, what date, and the status. So now you already have the patches, and in case you would like to roll back and you would like to deploy, then how you do the deployment and how you can do continuous improvement and deployment by using an AppSpace. Let me go next. Now, once you take the snapshot, and you have an option here, deployment, right? So in deployment, you can also see the deployment history. So there is a deployment history, and you can also do the server configurations, like you can design or configure your production server. So in this case, I can show you, like we have two environment, dev and production. So I would like to make some changes in my application, and I would like to deploy it to the production. And if you click on the production, it will show you all 4 components. And since you have taken the snapshot on the basis of patch or on the basis of the full application snapshot, you are able to choose. In case you would like to do on the basis of patch, you can choose either form, page, process, and microflow. I will go in details and talk about all these components later in this session. So right now, I'm just targeting to explain about all the features that you can use by using an AppSpace. So application deployment is the feature which I'm talking about. So now when you click on the page, you can see the configuration that my target server to deploy this application is this URL. So I can simply make the changes. I can simply make the changes inside my application, and I already configured that that's my production environment, and I can simply save it. So now if I would like to do the deployment, I can simply go and create new deployment. So if I can see, like when we have taken the snapshot, the new version is being created at 6.2.2. So you can select the version here, like which version you would like to deploy in the production. So this time I would like to deploy 6.2.2. So I simply select 6.2.2. Right now it's only show the page number, but we have new version coming up where you can see all details, that what is that page and name of the page and what is this significance of that page. So you can simply choose the deployment version and you can click on deploy. So it may take a couple of minutes to build this application and deploy into the production environment. So let me wait here for a while so that you can see that how system is being deploying the application from development environment to the production environment. So it's already built up the zip file, and final step is to deploy this into the production, and it's done. So as you can see that the deployment is success. I can back and I can see the history that deployment of the snapshot version to 6.2.2 is already been deployed with the status as success. So now if I would like to see my production environment, I can simply see my production environment. I will see my URL is here. So I can simply copy the URL and I can open this URL in the production environment. And as you can see that I can see the changes. So if you like, the use case that I make here is like, you have a whole website that you create by using a page designer component of ONEWEB, and then you have a list of tabs here, and then you finally found that you have some mistakes here and you forget to write Thailand. You miss the spelling. There is a spelling mistake where we missed the letter D here. So you deploy the wrong version, and suddenly you feel like, oh, how do we need to deploy it again? So how much time it would take? You can simply go back to the deployment screen again, where you have a deployment history. So you can see like which version that you would not have that problem. So if in case you would like to deploy the old version or some other version, you can simply click on redeploy, and they will ask you that which version you would like to deploy. So if I wanted to deploy version 6, which where there will not be having that mistake, so I can simply choose to redo and redeploy the other version. So it may take a time back, so then you can see that how the new version you can make changes and the new versions can be deployed. So simply you can open the applications in runtime. When I will demonstrate about the page, I will open this application in Page Designer, and you can see the applications and you can make changes. So you can add on something, you can add images, or you can add new functionalities. And once you add the new functionalities in your applications, you can take the snapshots, you can take new versions, and how easy and difficult it is to deploy those into the production. As you already see that you have to configure and add the production server. So once you have the production server, you have to use the screen that is here, deployment, and you have to either create a new deployment, or you can click on redeploy and you can select the version that you would like to deploy. So that case also work. And now you can see that before when I took the snapshot, the version was 6.2.2, and now I wanted to redeploy the version 6.0.0. And once it's done, I can refresh it back. As you can see, the mistake is Thailand here, so the letter D come up. So the intent to show you this use case is that let's say you have done some sort of mistakes, or you continuously improve your app. You have added new functionalities, new improvements, new JavaScript, or maybe new animations in your applications, and you would like to deploy it faster in the production environment. So as I deploy, I have taken the case where I misspelled the spelling of a country, Thailand. I misspelled it, and I did not mention the letter D. So finally, I realized in the production we have a mistake in the spelling of Thailand. So instantly I deploy the previous version, and the spelling goes right. So this is how you can deploy and deploy and continuously improve your apps in a very fast pace using an AppSpace. So this is 3 features that I talk about. First feature that I talk about was team management, and how you can add different people and different members from the dev or from management or from the people whosoever you want them to work on your app. You can simply add the member, and you can add those people inside your applications. So that's called team management. Second thing that I talk about is version control, the way we can take the versions, and we can create new versions, depends on like how new functionalities and new things that we are adding up on our applications. And finally, we can deploy those into the productions, which is very easy, as I already show you one deployment where I made the changes, and we have misspelled some letter, and we again deploy the previous version, and we rectify our mistakes. Now talk about the app switcher. Now, what is this app switcher? Once you click on this, the button here, the cube size button, we call it as an app switcher. There you have the capability to actually select all the components that reside inside ONEWEB. So AD stands for App Designer, PD stands for Page Designer, PD stands for Process Designer, sorry, and PG stands for Page Designer, and MF stands for Microflow. So now if you would like to see this menu, or you would like to create the AD tool is called an app designer, which is used to create smart forms or web forms. So in case you would like to create some forms like web forms or pages or processes or flows, how you can do that? You can simply click on this button, and it will show you all the components that are inside. So you can click on the form, you can click on the process, you can click on the page, you can click on the microflow. It will switch to that component. You don't have to go back, or you don't have to choose the components on the component menu. You can simply click on, let's say I click on the page, it will simply take me inside the page component and show me all the pages that are built, like the pages that we were changing. It's here, the contact, the word that we were missing, and we make the new version, as you can see. So this is how we can switch among the various components of OneWeb that are actually inside the app space. So using an app space, you can easily switch between each and every component. Okay, so let me talk about each and every component, that when and how you should use, and when you should use these component, and what is the significance of each of these four component that is been showing in app space. Okay, so let me go back to app space. So now the trick to go back to app space is again the app switcher. You click on the app switcher, and there is a text called back to app space. You click on back app space, and it will take you back to the app space where you can see all the applications. So you can click on app, and it will show you all the applications. So now for an example, let me choose one of the application here. Let me choose the login page. Okay, so now this application, I can see how many components are there inside this application, as it's showing that we have five components, where there is one form, one page, two processes, and one microflow. Now I will go one by one and tell you the significance, and when and how you will use these components, and why these components are useful for, and then when you should decide that we should go for a page, when we should decide that we should go for a form, when we need to think about based on the requirements that we have from the businesses or from the customers, and how do you know that which component you will be using to accomplish those requirements. So now let's say you would like to make up some websites that I have just shown you, one website where I misspelled some mistakes. So you can see, like, if I would like to make a web responsive systems or web responsive page, or some mobile app, hybrid mobile app that can run on the Android or iOS platforms, I will choose the page. Okay, so page actually redirect you to the page designer tool, where you can simply create the UX UI for web responsive systems, for a mobile UX UI for mobiles, and you can also deploy the mobile apps. So you can simply click on the page. So once you click on the page and click on edit, it will also take you to the page designer. So this is how the page designer look like. So page designer, if I talk about the functionalities of page designer, I will talk that in my next sessions, which will be actually emphasized on the basis of components. So today's session is to talk about app space. So since these all components are the part of app space, so I would like to focus here on app space more, and just give you a highlight that when are you supposed to use these components in which business requirements. So now if you would like to build a website, or you would like to build a mobile applications, you will use the page designer. So you click on the page, it will take you inside the page designer. So this is page designer component look like. All these are UI elements, as you can see: container, embed, panels. These all have its own significance. Once we will take the webinar session for web application, build web applications using page designer, I will explain all these UI elements as well. Right now you can see that these are the elements that there. You can simply change the tags. You can have a lot of features on the top. When you click on any UI element, like this UI element is called paragraph. Let me take it here. This UI element is called paragraph. In this paragraph, you can replicate the paragraph. You can duplicate the paragraph. You can edit the text. So if you would like to see that how it would appear on different screens, you can simply click on this different screen resolutions, and you can see it's web responsive to every screen. So this is how you can build the web responsive pages that can be seen beautifully on your mobile devices or any smartphone devices. So in case you would like to know that how you build the mobile applications, I would request all of you to go back to our first session. And please, I will also post the link at the bottom once we will post this webinar session inside our YouTube channel, or ONEWEB AVALANT YouTube channel. I will post the link, and you can see that how you build the mobile application using Page Designer. So this is the example of a web applications where once you building the web applications or building any website, and you would like to see whether this application is web responsive or not, so you can simply click and you can see this is web responsive, and how it would appear you can simply decide and you can simply see that. So once you build the applications, you use the various components, you click on this play me button and it will simply give you that preview. And this is how you build applications on component level. So you can simply, they will provide you the URL, it will instantly provide you the URL, you can click on the URL and it will open up the website for you and show you that how it would appear to the end user. So this is like the significance and importance of page designer, and how you can use a page designer to build a web responsive websites or web responsive systems. But now, if you once you use Page Designer and you click on Create New Application, let me take you back once again. We will go back to the AppSpace. So once you create any new applications, right? I will go back to the AppSpace again. Once you create any new applications, as you can see, there are two options. There are options for web and there are options for mobile. If you would like to know about mobile, I would request you to see a last session that we have done this month. So build your first demo app with ONEWEB. You can see that session there. We use a mobile component to mobile platform to create one demo mobile application. So you can see that. So it would help you to see more UI elements that are inside the web. So now I talked about web here. Sorry, more UI elements inside mobile. So that day we built mobile. So today I'm talking about web here. So once you design a page designer, you have two platforms. You can build web, you can build mobile. So this is how we use page designer to build applications. And how about the backend? So I will go back to that application again. Now you already see the page, the significance of page, that when and how you should use page. And in one requirement that if you would like to build the UX UI that is attractive and that is in the form of websites and animations, you will use the page designer to build those websites. Now I will move it to Microflow now next. So Microflow, if you would like to know more about the Microflow, you can please refer to our last session where we already built one Microflow and connect to the external system to show the PM 2.5 values. But I will take you to the tour of Microflow to give you an overview of the Microflow here. That once you select the Microflow, you will have to build one business object where you which encapsulates all the data that you are going to use. Let's say you have an API and you want it to connect to an external systems. So you can use Microflow to build that service. So if you ask me about what is Microflow and what is the significance of Microflow, I can simply say you that Microflow helps you to build the backend of your applications where you don't need any human intervention. You want your process to be autonomous, where you can simply, if you would like to connect to the external system, you can simply create your process by drag and drop the start and end node. And if you wanted to have a connection with the database, you want to get the values from the database, you can simply drag and drop the database node. If you wanted to build and connect with an external system, you can simply say external systems. And data mapping is simple. You can simply, if I want to connect to any external system, I will simply create this flow, and the next thing that will be left in this case is I will simply mention the URL of API. Whether it's REST or SOAP, you can have, it depends on the API. So you can simply mention that API and you can connect with the system, external system. So here, as you can see, there is no human intervention. So you can have a start node, end node. You can give the file as an input to start the process. You can have a subflow. You can read the file. In case you have some sort of customization where the API is not in the form of REST and SOAP, and you wanted to build the connectors to connect with any SAP system or any external system, you can simply use that Java to customize. You can build the Java, you can do the Java coding, and you can have a jar file here, and you can click on the Java node, and here inside the Java parameter, you can give your jar file name, and simply you can customize. So this is how Microflow helps you to connect to any external system. You can connect to any external database or internal database to display that data on the UI. So you build the UX UI by using page, and then you can use the Microflow service to create your backend system to connect with the external system. A very good example is the very first webinar that we have done, that where we build the UX UI using page, and we build the microservices to connect with the external system called Air Visual, where we get the data of air pollutants from an external system called Air Visual. So you can see that how these two things work together. We build the system, backend system, we build the front end system, and on the UI level, we simply integrate both backend and front end, and we create an app that helps us to show the PM 2.5 values, that help us to show the air pollutants in terms of graphical representations. Please refer to our last webinar to know more about this. Now, let's go back to the app space. And as I mentioned you, we have an app switcher. You can click on it, and you can simply click on the app space, leave, and you can back to the app space. And now I already mentioned you page, that how you can build web responsive system, mobile apps using a page. Then I talk about the Microflow, where you can simply go and create a backend flow, connect with external systems, connect with your database, or even customize on the basis of some jar files, where you have to build some Java coding, and you build jar files, and you can simply use that in the Java database node, activity node, and you can customize your applications. Now, there are two things that are left here, which is one is process, other is form. So when we use this process and form, let's move inside the form and see how the form looks like. So form is actually for to create web smart forms. So let's say you giving you an example first, like in case you have a business process flow, or in case you have to build some smart forms or web forms where your UX UI is not that important. Like giving you an example, you walk into the bank, you would like to request for the mortgage, or you would like to request for the loan. So the banking or insurance companies, they used to have a big forms, a very complicated forms, where they wanted to collect your data. They wanted to know your first name, last name, your income, your all your background, your ID numbers. So they don't have to build the websites for it. They quickly build the smart forms, and they wanted the person to build the smart forms they don't want to rely on the software engineer. So this tool is actually meant to build the smart forms where you don't need any coding. So if you build the same form by using a page designer, it may be very tedious process, or may be very time consuming process. But in case you would like to build something, some web forms using app designer, this tool is called app designer, actually, the forms, which is able to build the forms. You can simply see there are tabs that you can build. So you can build customer service, and you can have a 2-layer tab, normal tab. The one web form, the name of the form, that's called module. We have a module here that I simply drag and drop, and you have a list of fields. Now inside this, you can simply disable it. Inside this, you have a list of it. In case your form have a label or hidden fields, you have to save some keys. You want it to have a radio button, check boxes, text area, dynamic list box, where you have to select the data from the master table. You can use these types of fields, and the process is really simple. How? You can simply click on this, and as you can see, this is one column. I wanted to change it to 2 column. It changed the layout to 2 column. I wanted to have 4 rows. I can simply click here to create 4 rows. Now I wanted to capture the travel date or the username. So username can be in the form of text box. So I simply drag and drop the text box. I can change it to username. So what you do here is you just write the field name, and you see this simply get the values from the database. How it gets the values from the database? First of all, you connect this form, the schema, you integrate with the schema of the database. How? You can simply mention the table. How difficult is it? You just click on this edit, and you mention the name of your table. So once this entity is connected with your database, it starts to show every table that is present in the database. As you can see, there are list of tables coming up. I would like to use one table, like one web benefit. I select my one table, and I can mention here the primary key of my table. In case you would like to build the form, you have to just mention the primary key of the table, and you build all the fields that are required in your forms. So all the columns that are inside that table will start to appear here. How, as I already show you an example, a username, that I just write a username. I didn't save it, I think. So username, I simply click on username, I click on OK. So as you can see, username. So already the column name username is tagged and persistent to the database. So now if I enter the values in runtime on this username field and save this form, it will automatically be saved in the database. So there is no coding involved here. So people can simply drag and drop and can build very complicated forms by using an app designer. So this is the significance of a form, that how you can use an app space and can build a form. So you can also have a preview screens as well. As you can see, I build the travel date and it shows the travel date. If I will just go to the username and add the search here, and because show search, if you enable the show search, it will start to come up. You have to save it first. Once you save the whole form, we call it as entity. That's why once I save any form, it says, do you want to save entity? The whole form is called an entity. We save the form, and if we click on the search again, you can simply preview it. You can see that how your data will review. So is the feature. The feature is to instantly preview your designing screen. That if you are designing something, you are dragging and dropping in many fields, and you would like to see that how it would come up, how the thing will look like. You can simply drag and drop, and you can see. Since this form is not complete, I just drag and drop the travel date, so it will show like this. So you can see the create view, that how, as you see that I have two fields, travel date and username. It start to come up, travel date and username, right? So this is how you can build and preview at the same time. So you don't have to wait. As you can see, the create module number, because I did not rename it. So I did not rename it. So if you rename it with something like, I want it to be a information, and I simply save it, so it will change it to information. So I will save my entity, and I will see the create view, that it changed to information. So you can instantly build web forms, no matter how complicated is it. You can have one tab, and you can have multiple tabs. You can build up the multiple tabs here. You can build one more tab here, and you can say this is information. So this way, then you can have multiple tabs, and inside this tab you can build again the modules, and again one-to-many module, and you can build, right? So this is where you can build very complicated forms that is being used by the banking, that is being used by the insurance. So this way, app designer or this form designer can actually help you to build the smart forms very easily without relying on software engineers, without rely on coding. So in case, yes, you would like to customize, you can do it by using JavaScript, and you can also even call the Microflow that I talk about. If you would like to connect with the external system, you can use the Microflow here also, and you can connect to the external systems. Let's say banking, when you would like to go for the mortgage, or you would like to take the credit cards from the banks, you have to connect to the external systems. They may need to connect to the credit value department to see that whether you have already taken the credit cards from many banks, or whether you are being blacklisted. So they would like to connect. So when the insurance companies or the banking systems, they build the systems, they need to connect the systems to an external systems as well to see the credibility. So this is how you can build up the forms by using App Designer, or by using a form feature inside an app space. Now we left with the process. Now what is this process? So process, how you access the process first? Either you can, if you would like to build the process inside this application, you can simply click on this. You can click on the process, it will take you to the process. Or you can have the option, you can simply click on PD. PD is called process designer, which actually create the process. So if you click on this, it will show how many processes inside this application. If you would like to create a new process, you simply click on this and you click on the process, right? Let me click on the process. And now, what is this process and how and when you should choose the process to work on? Let me take you back to the one diagram, giving you an example of purchase order. Now here you can see there is a process. This is called a process, a complete business process workflow, where you have an employee, which is one work party. You have a finance manager, which is second work party, and you have a chief financial officer, third work party. So you have to have a total business process where you have approved, where you have conditions, and you have rejections. You have checking using the figures, like if the condition is right, you may need to roll back, you may need to assign the task back to the user or to the employee. If it gets success, you may need get an authorizations or approve or rejections from a CFO. So this is a complete process. So if you would like to have, or you wanted to build this business process inside your business, or build for your customers, or you have requirements to build a business process, that's when we use a tool called Process Designer, where you can build this process. Now, how you design those similar process? You just build the lanes. So now I have like that example: employee, finance manager, and CFO. I can have employee. I can click on it. You can simply right click, open the configuration. You can change it to employee. Well, I would not build the whole process, but I will just give you enough idea so that you can understand actually what this tool and what is the significance of this tool, and when you will be able to, or when you should use this process to design the business processes, and when you can do the job by using a Microflow. The only difference I would say that if you would like to design the process where there is an intervention of a humans, because here user, employee have to fill up some screens in order to maybe employee have to fill up the screen, and that screen based on the decisions. So we can make a decisions here. We have a note where you can have a decision. So you can put the conditions, you can make the decisions, and you have a second, like say this maybe a manager. I call it as a manager. You can simply click on it or change the name. You can change the name. Manager. So you can, if the condition is true, or you have to send it back to the manager, you can build the processes like this, and you can simply configure it. Each and every node can be configured. Now the screens that you make, the human node, as you see, there are a list of activities here. There are human sub-process. This is same as I mentioned in the Microflow. The only additional activity here is the human activity, because here when we build the process, we need to have an intervention from humans. Like I am an employee, I filled up the form, I send it to my manager. I have a leave, I would like to have a leave, and I filled up a form called leave form. That leave form you can build actually by using a form designer, which I just talked about prior to it. So you can simply use that form designer and create one leave form. Now, if you have conditions like maybe you are looking for a leave for 2 months, which cannot be approved, you can have rejection here, or you have your manager to see that task in the to-do list. So you can simply open up the task, any of your tasks you can open up, and you can load the entity. You remember that I said that the complete form is called an entity. So now if you click on load entity, you can see actually all the entities that are there, like ONEWEB lab or ONEWEB form. So all the designers, all the forms, all the UI form that you build, you actually be able to see that, and you can tag those entities inside this human node, and you can build a whole set of process that where you like to read the file, take a decision. So these are gateways for take decisions, where you want one of the conditions to be true, you use inclusive. Where you don't actually want to check the conditions, but you want to set the data to multiple levels, you can use the parallel gateways. Where you want the data to flow in one direction, where the condition is true, you can simply use inclusive gateway, where you can have multiple paths to multiple directions, but based on the conditions, if the condition is true, the data will flow from one path to another. So this is all the components and all the significance of all 4 components, which is page, microflow, form, and process. So this is all 4 components. I give you the highlight. Please request us in case you would like to go deep detail into any of the component. We can take a session. And in case you have a question about these, you can please simply ask us. The only thing I am left here is IAM. As I already mentioned here that we can create user. Then how do you manage actually the user? I have already shown you that you can actually create. You can do the team management. You can add the member. Then how do you actually make a user on the ONEWEB platform? We use an IAM platform through which you can create a user on this platform. Let me show you that as well. I will back to an app space, and I just would like to reiterate that we discuss form, we discuss page, we discuss process, we discuss microflow, and when these components should be used, in which business requirements, we discuss all that. And if you would like to add form or add page, you can simply click on inside your applications, you can simply click on add new. You can add new form, you can add new page, you can add new process, you can add new microphone. So it will take you inside the component, and same like I already give you an overview, you can design each component inside this app space. Now back to IAM. So how do you create actually, how do you do the control management? How do you do the profile management? How do you set the roles and permissions for a user? So let me back. I will just log out. So let's say this is in ONEWEB.tech environment. I would like to create a user inside this. I would like to create one more user that will be able to use the ONEWEB.tech, or I would like to set the roles and permissions for a user. I can simply create, go to the IAM, which is this is the URL for access the IAM tool. I can simply log in as an admin. If I have a permissions to create user, this is an IAM platform of ONEWEB where you can simply create a user. As you see the Kun Sujata login, so Kun Sujata has already the permission to log in on ONEWEB AppSpace and can create an applications. So how do you set the roles and permissions, and how do you create a user? I'm going to talk in next 5 minutes. So if you would like to create a user, you can simply click on create user. So you can create a new user. Let's say Johnson, and you can mention the first name. So you can fill up the fields. So you can fill up the fields, and you can give an option for user. Here there is an option that if the user get locked, the status will automatically will change to no. You have to change it to yes. If the user will enter the password wrong 3 times or 4 times, it will automatically lock the status. You can enable it if you have the admin privileges. You can, if you want the user to change the password, you can either enable or disable it. If you disable it, user will not be able to change the password. If you want to use the LDAP, you can simply use the LDAP repository, and you can set the password for the user. And you can simply, you can also add the image. If you would like to add an image, you can also add an image. So let me choose a funny image. So as you can see, so a few of the fields are mandatory, so we need to write those fields. So I guess we have some issue there. Okay, so I will check that, but as you can see that I entered a user called Sujata just now. So Sujata can simply access the app space. And how do I give the roles and permissions? I can simply click on the user button, and I can add the roles and permissions, and I can remove the roles and permissions. So Sujata already had an role and permission for access the user menu where she can create an applications. So if I would like to add more roles and permissions, I can simply choose among the objects that which kind of privileges I would like to give to the user, admin privileges or user privileges, where they can create the applications or they can simply work on the applications. So this is how about IAM, where you can create a user on different OneWeb environment, and you can simply select the roles and permissions here, and you can be a system admin and see all the object type features here. So this is how the IAM tool look like. So, and if you would like to see that all the users that are already there, if you have an admin privileges, you can also see the user data, and you can let them to reset their passwords in case you would like to give them an options. So this is about IAM. So we cover all app space and IAM, then how we do the version control and team management and application, set the permissions and switch among various components, which tool we use to create a web responsive and mobile apps, how we build the smart forms and when these smart forms will be useful for business applications, how we do the application integrations by using a Microflow and connect with external systems, and how we build the business processes. So I would like to know if you guys have any questions. Please feel free to ask me.
Mr. Leviti has a question.
Yep.
So can we access the website while the deployment is being processed?
Well, I think yes, we can access the oldest version. It's till the time the deployment is still running up. Yes, we can still access the old version. It may stop for a while. I think I need to check on that part. I didn't do that testing, but I will check and let you know, confirm you on this.
Okay, so thank you.
So in case we have a Thai user as well, in case someone would like to ask something in Thai language, please feel free to ask me. We have Suchata here that can help us in translation, and I would be happy to help. So let me ask this question.
มีคำถามไหมคะถ้าคำถามถามได้ค่ะ
Well, we have an email. So we have an email, contact@oneweb.tech. So in case you have any questions, you please ask us via an email, or we also going to upload. This is a recorded session, and we are going to upload this session on our YouTube channel. So I would request all of you to support us and subscribe to our channel. In case you will have any questions, you can also post there on the channel so that we can address your questions and we can answer you accordingly. And in case you would like to have more questions on some of the topics, or some of the topics which are not being covered but you are curious to know about OneWeb features, please feel free to email us on OneWeb. contact@oneweb.tech, right?
contact@oneweb.tech มีคำถามหรือว่าความต้องการความช่วยเหลือทางด้าน Product สามารถส่งอีเมลมาถามได้ที่ contact@oneweb.tech นะคะ
So thank you so much, guys, for joining today's session. I hope this session is useful for all of us. So well, we will keep doing these such sessions on a very regular basis so that you are up to date with the OneWeb features. We are keep on designing the app space more and more so that you can see more and more options, like when you are taking snapshots, what actually changes did you make on your version. That will also be seen on the console, and there are many more features that are coming up. When you take actually the snapshot, you see the page just state the number, but it did not mention actually the page number or the component name. So these improvements will be coming soon. So please stay with us, and you will see a lot more improvements in OneWeb in coming months. And well, AppSpace is actually a very big improvement where you can use all 4 components. You don't have to move through the zones. You can simply log into an AppSpace, and you can use actually all the capabilities of OneWeb in one place. So and also in terms of control management, you can simply use the control IAM tool where you can simply create a user. If you have a OneWeb license, you can simply create a user for a OneWeb environment and give them the roles and permissions accordingly, whether they are able to use to create an applications, or they can simply work on an application. So you can set those roles and permissions, password controls, and all that stuff. So in case you have any questions, please feel free to ask us. Thank you so much for today's session. I hope you all have a very great day.
ขอบคุณค่ะ